good afternoon. Today is the 1st of February and I just set up the camera in the car to record a little video for my uncle who's celebrating a significant birthday. But I just thought I'd also have a talk to channel viewers about something that actually came into my mind the other day. So I had one of my regular viewers comment about a particular type of new car that they wanted to see me review on the channel. Now I've had to say to this viewer, some of you will already know what I mean by this, that it's going to be a bit difficult for me to get hold of one of these cars and for you to actually see it on the channel. And this is because the majority of cars that you see on the channel are ones that I get offered. I remember James Martin the other day recorded a video about a subject like this, and you know, he was talking about a Sierra RS Cosworth, I think a sapphire one, and someone had asked him on his channel, can he please review one? Now I think he'd be very happy to review one. He's reviewed a lot of fast forwards in his time, but I don't think he's ever been offered one of those cars. And it sort of struck me as well that sometimes it's very difficult to get hold of a particular car for review. For example, I waited well over a year to get hold of a Mark III Capri, not because I wanted to been off one, because I hadn't been, but because the car in question just wasn't ready to go on the road. And when we actually get that particular Mark III Capri, it's a different one from the one we ended up filming, then obviously we'll do it. But sometimes there are just delays like that, or there are other factors involved. For example, if it's a new car and it's from a manufacturer that I don't have a relationship with, or I don't have a dealer contact, it's very hard actually to get hold of those. The thing is about contacting a dealer that you have no relationship with whatsoever, and never bought a car from, or never sourced one for a client, is that they don't tend to want to give you a car because they don't really know anything about you. A lot of the time the dealerships are run by, you know, quite big groups, and so they have to go through quite a procedure of you know, checking somebody out and seeing if they're okay. The channel I have is really quite small by YouTube standards, and you know, I'm not one of these people like, I don't know, CarWow or What Car or something. You can just go to virtually any manufacturer and say, you know, can I have one of those? And they just get them from the press department. I do have a couple of press departments. I've had cars from Suzuki and of course MG before. I tend to find it quicker actually to get new cars through dealers, and that's why I'm very grateful to Summit Garage, who supply most of the new MGs you see on the channel, sometimes you know, even second-hand ones, and also to Platinum Sanyong and Froome, who allowed us to film some of their new Sanyongs. And you know, the MGs tend to do very well on the channel. The Sanyong, yes, less so. I don't particularly know why, but that's just the way that it goes. But any other brand of new car, apart from the three that I've mentioned, it's much more difficult to get hold of them. And you can understand why, the reasons I've explained. You know, if you don't have a massive channel and you don't have that particular type of car on the channel already, which sounds a bit sort of contradictory, that, you know, for example, if I want to film a new Hyundai, the Hyundai press department will kind of want to know what sort of, you know, what Hyundai stuff my channel does, which you know, is a bit strange because I don't have much new Hyundai stuff on the channel really. That's just one example. So yeah, there are certain manufacturers that are more difficult to get hold of cars for from the press department than others. For example, Mazda, I gather, right, you know, Planet Auto have told me about some of these. Mazda apparently is a bit trickier to get hold of than some others. You know, all of them are quite difficult. It's not easy to get hold of press cars, but for some reason that's why you don't see Mazdas, for example, on a lot of the sort of smaller channels, which tend to be a bit more difficult to get hold of. And so most of the cars that I have, you know, somebody offers them to me, or in some cases I know somebody who's got a car and I just ask them if I can film it. I just, you know, they just friends of mine, and that's, for example, how I used to get the cars in the very early days of the channel. Either I owned them, or I knew somebody who had one, and I just asked them. And that will be the case actually probably once we come out of the lockdown. How you'll see some of the cars that we're going to be filming. I just happen to know people in the area with some cars, and it was at the time we were in tier 4, that was the way I was going to get hold of some for the channel. I just happened to know some people in the area who had them. Unfortunately, that didn't really work particularly well, because we went into the entire national lockdown, and now it's difficult to get anything for review for other reasons. But I just wanted to let you all know that I do try to get hold of things. For example, the Vauxhall Corsa and the Corsa E that I filmed literally about 2 days before the lockdown started. Those I just happened to go ask to a test drive and filmed a little brief walk around Fiat T-Post Saloon. I just happened to be there. I was sort of half considering getting one, and it's a bit of a joke, but I just asked the dealer if I could do a walk around of it. It was February 2020, because I'd not seen one in the country. I think I've still got probably the only walk around, but it's an independent one. But in the country, I don't think anybody else ever did one, because it was such a minority niche car, and they sold hardly any of them, that in the end that was a car that had a very brief time on the market. I think you could still buy them new, but they are not importing any more of them. So I just happened to ask when I was there if I could do it, and they said yes, take a video of it, so I did. And that's just the way that it tends to work, to be able to get hold of them before reviews so much. And also, Tweed Jacket reviews cost an awful lot of money to film. It does cost hundreds and hundreds of pounds to film just one episode of that, because we need to get somebody in to do it properly, and it means better equipment than what you're currently seeing here to actually do the thing justice. So there is also that element of it, but actually it's just one person saying, can you film a particular car? I have to know really that the cars we film particularly might do okay, or that actually there's a lot of interest for them, or personally I really want to do it. Bear in mind, we're probably this year, and this is a plan even before the national lockdown started, we're only looking at maybe 4 or 5 cars for the entire year for Tweed Jacket reviews, just to keep the sort of spend down, so we're able to not completely discontinue the series. So there is also the sort of financial aspect of it, which is just something to bear in mind, really, because the channel doesn't have really the sort of income, particularly at the moment, because of the pandemic, that ideally I would be able to cover the costs on it. I don't cover the costs, in fact. As I've said many times before, if we looking at the amount of money that the channel typically gets funded, that's by generally by me, we get between about sort of 5 and 10% back of what we invested into the channel from the advertising revenue. And there are obviously sponsored videos we'd like to do for Tweed Jacket reviews. In fact, we might do some this year, which means we can do some extra ones. But that's really kind of it. If you're putting in that amount of money, and you're seeing a 5 to 10% return on what you've put in. So if you put £100 in, you get five to £10 back. You really can't just do episodes on a whim, even if someone's willing to provide the car for you. So I think that's sort of it, really. Thank you ever so much indeed for watching this really quite sort of shambolic video. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so, and click the notification bell to be informed of new videos. My social media links are down below. And thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching.